entitled the subject Existential Crisis. Why? Because I realize the existential crisis is affecting a lot of people around the world. Affecting our life, our family, our jobs, our thoughts. For example, the existential crisis affects directly the frontal lobe. What is the frontal lobe? You know, the brain possesses four lobes and several hemispheres. For example, the brain has occipital lobe, temporal lobe, parietal lobe, and obviously frontal lobe is one of them. Lined immediately behind the forehead, including areas concerned about the behavior, personality, and voluntary movement. So it's very serious, the thing. It's very serious. Because if you presence any frontal lobe crisis, that means your mood going to alter, and your behavior and your conduct going to fail. Why? Because the existential crisis presents several symptoms affect the human being and the good well-being. For example, if you get the existential crisis, you feel anything is enough. Anything is enough. No matter what you have done until now, it's not enough. It's not enough to feel fulfilled, to feel happiness, to feel you reach to any achieve. You feel successful person. And so that's why many people, for any reason, at least one time in their life has for existential crisis. So the existential crisis presents frustration, despair, lack of meaning of life, and also prospect to suicide because the life is not enough. The life, anything is capable of to feel the void you feel inside you. So this man is very, very terrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. By the way, the psychiatrists consider the things like heart illness triggers many sickness around our life, affecting the families, our kids, our wife, husband, our friends, because we can feel bad thoughts. We can reflect bad personality. Also, this not be my intention, my purpose. But for example, you can be in the meeting and suddenly you became very sad. You feared wishes to cry or offend anybody, and you know why it happened. You know why it happened. But you are present to existential crisis. That's right. So, the existential crisis is not exclusive illness or weakness or circumstances. The secular person, the impious person, no, not at all. Not at all. I heard many people inside the church suffering about the existential crisis. Unfortunately, I heard inclusive pastor, famous minister, missionary, teacher of the word, of the Bible, has committed suicide. Suicide. Because they feared existential crisis. So the existential crisis is a fair in the short as never, as much as never, provoking inside the church void, weakness, despair, frustration, anything is capable of to feel me, anything makes me happy, neither family nor job, neither profession, nor my personal success, my personal achievement, my personal goals. Why? Because I'm affected by the existential crisis, or existential death, worst. Because when the existential crisis gets worse, so passes to existential dread. You feel scared, you feel afraid of everything, and you don't know why. You don't know why you feel that, but it is. It's happening. So in the Bible, it's incredible, but in the Bible we can find both men and women suffered about the existential crisis. Because one symptom of the existential crisis is lack of meaning of the life. So they wish to finish my life. Is the symptoms, the more terrible symptoms about the existential crisis. If you look in the Bible, you're going to find the prophet Elijah. The prophet Elijah, he just did a great miracle, because God provided the victory over the darkness of kingdom, over the idolaters, over the false prophet who served to the king Ahab and his wife Jezebel. So he should be very grateful, very happy. He should be celebrating the victory. Instead, he was wishing his son death. If you read the Bible, in 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 4, the Bible specified the prophet Elijah felt a lot of frustration. So incredible. But anything he has done till now seems enough to he feels, to he felt successful. Look, any miracle he did before this event look like not enough, insufficient, insignificant, unmeaningful. Why? Because he was suffering about the existential crisis. Because the man who faced 850 false prophets who served to the darkness, he should be celebrating the victory. But he wished his son death. because the king Ahab wife Jezebel threatening him for he has done, for he had done. It's incredible. The prophet of fire, the prophet of great revelations, the powerful prophet Elijah is scary about one single woman. But in the verse 4, 1 Kings 19, verse 4, the Bible said, but himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and come and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die and said, eat enough. Please underline this word, underline this phrase, eat enough. This phrase is typical. It's typical in people suffers about the existential crisis. Everybody suffers existential crisis. Uses this phrase. Uses often. Uses this phrase. Eat enough. It is enough. Because it's incapable of to look forward. Because it's unable. Is incapable of to keep walking forward, to keep going forward to the God's promise, to the God's destiny, to the God's goals, to the God's purpose. Because even thought he's still alive, he felt time inside because he felt loss of meaning of life, loss of meaning of life, lack of meaning about everything. Now the prophet Elijah didn't care about anything and anybody. Didn't care. He just wished his own death. He just thought he deserved died. But if you feared existential crisis, I got news for you. All of us, at any moment, all of us have felt the same like you have felt. Like you have felt. Anyone, all of us, we had the same existential crisis like you. So, why God allowed the shores passes, the shores face this reality? Why? Because Christ, Jesus Christ on the cross, for the saints, Jesus Christ on the cross felt the same. When he said, Father, why did you abandon me? Why? Obviously, Father, why did you abandon me? That's obvious. Jesus at this time was talking as man, as human being. Not as a spiritual entity, divine entity. Just a human being. He felt alone. Like you have felt alone many times. many, many times. Like me, like all of us. So in this time, God allowed we feel lonely because prepared our character, prepared our personality, spiritual personality, to new challenge, to new goals, to greater goals, to bigger challenge, to bigger challenge. Because when you feel alone, so you had the obligation to get the haven, the spiritual haven, in the Jesus arms. In the Jesus arms. Because you don't have any alternative. You don't have any options. Any options. You only had the prospect to go to the Jesus arm, to go to the spiritual haven, to go to the God's secret, God intimate. That's why we gotta face your own existential crisis. Pastor, why I have to feel that? Because God are preparing to the new task. God are preparing to the new challenge, to the bigger goal, Because of this, God prepare us to resist, to face every scary, every challenge, every trials. No matter how hard it is, you are capable of. You are the resource to fight, to keep fighting for it. Your blessing, your minister, your family, your goals, and your spiritual destiny. And all the past is very large. The path is very large. Nonetheless, God always is close by. God always is close by. So the existential crisis affect our spiritual vision. That's why the prophet Elijah didn't see God was close by. When you pass an existential crisis, you can feel alone, even thought you are among a lot of people around you. No matter how many people is around you, no matter that. You feel alone anyway. Because the existential crisis makes you feel void, empty inside. No matter what you want, no matter what you have, no matter what you succeed for. No matter what you succeed for, you are. Even thought you keep feeling bored, sad, unhappy, miserable. That's the word, miserable. no matter how many effort you do, you never solve anything by your own force, by your own strength. So the existential crisis God allowed because teaches that God is indispensable for us at any scenario, at any stage of our life. God will be indispensable forever, always, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and always, by century, by decade, century, millenniums, always God is indispensable. So God provoked the existential crisis in the church when He sees the church is negligent, when He sees the church became weak, is distracted by the material affairs, by the natural things. When He sees the church has lost the focus in Jesus Christ as path, as goals, as goal. But God allows the existential crisis to have to refuge in the spiritual heaven. In the spiritual heaven, that means the presence of God. The presence of God. So, when you find the presence of God amid your existential pride, you will get the answer that you were looking for. You will get the answer that you were looking for. As the prophet Habakkuk did. The Bible said in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 17 through 19, Habakkuk experienced a great, a terrible, a horrible existential crisis because the foreign empire invaded his nation, and obvious of the keys, of the women, of the elders, of the everybody, looting the seed, looting the job, the harvest, looting everything, looting the horse, get bones, anybody, get slave, get. That's why the prophet Habakkuk felt despair, frustration, mental tiredness, according to second, the mental health, the mental illness, the mental tiredness. The mental tiredness is health illness. Is health illness. When you feel tired mentally. So the prophet Habakkuk felt mental tiredness. Why? To wait, to suffer, to see the obvious from the foreign empire, for anything else. But he comprehended, look for the presence of God amid the crisis. Is there? inside me, stop it as soon as possible. How? Looking for the presence of God amid my crisis. So the prophet Habakkuk compelled him to look for the presence of God amid his crisis, and he get the answer. He get the answer he were looking for from God. That's why his vision altered. That's why his vision changed immediately. And when he come out from the presence of God, he changed the speech. He changed his thought. He changed his mind. So he said, Habakkuk chapter 3 verse 17, also the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines. The labor of the olive shall fail, and the fruit shall yield not meat. The flood shall be cut off from the ford, and there shall be not heard in the stores. Yet I will rejoice. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will join the God of my salvation. It's the key. It's the right answer to any crisis. At any crisis, this is right answer. Change the complaint for praying. Prayed instead complain. Praise instead cried. Instead yell. So that's why the prophet Habakkuk defeated the existential crisis. The existential crisis. Why? Because he decided to look for the presence of God amid his crisis, and God provided the answer he was looking for. So now he can say, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will join the God of my salvation. The Lord God is my strength, and he will make my feet like hinds feet, and he will make me to walk upon my high. So if you realize you are experiencing any existential crisis, this is the time to have decide to look for the presence of God amid your crisis. Now, as soon as now, and you will get the answer to your crisis, to come out from this period, this sad, horrible, terrible period, to complaints, to crying, to despair, frustration. So you have to decide this time to say enough. That's enough to keep suffering. That's enough to keep suffering. That's enough to keep complaining and feel pity myself. Now, I will get out right now and decide to look for the presence of God and look for the answer in the Jesus one. If you had felt existential crisis, don't worry about it. Get up, because all of us have suffered by existential crisis. All of us, many times, we have decided, wish to crisis, spiritual crisis? No. You belong to the group of hero of the gospel, to the group of warriors, to the group of who are capable of to beat any darkness kingdom manifestation. God bless you. I hope to see you as soon as next week. God bless you. Take care and keep safe. Bye. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe. Thanks for watching. God bless you.